After being tired from being stared by a blue bald man, I wanted to investigate a little bit deeper into the tower and stumbled upon archives of Golden Age weapons. Exotics. And I didn't find anything better to do rather than to rank every single exotic weapon in Destiny 2 in an overly complicated tier list. There are multiple differences that separate this tier list from any other. First of all, it's a PvE related tier list. Second of all, this tier list will not have any of those funny alphabet letters. Being a proud European, I shall rank every exotic from 1 to 10, where a 5 I would consider average. Only one exotic will be at the place of the very top of the food chain at 10, and only one will be at the very bottom, ranking a 1. The list will be my subjective personal opinion, however I would lie if I told you that I used every exotic in the game, so to make the feel fair and square I've first given each exotic a try to see its general effectiveness and feel. I will be ranking them chronologically, so strap yourself in. Starting with Red War, when I first grabbed Cold Heart out of my collections, I immediately got curious. Its exotic perk apparently creates ionic traces. The same metal tree ionic traces? Quite interesting to do this right before Arc 3.0. Upon trying it, the gun is strange. Before its rework, its perk was just that this is a trace rifle. But upon trying out the new version, it's definitely more fun than I expected, and it looks and feels slick. A good 4 out of 10. To be honest, there isn't much to say about Borealis. It does feel like a product of its time, being outshined by a bunch of different exotics in almost every way. However, I can't argue that the gun itself looks stunning, especially with the elitist ornament that I got to have. I found myself just changing the element randomly because brain thought, haha, pretty. Other than for visual pleasure, it can't offer much else. A 3 out of 10 at best. Being another product of a Red War era, Hardlight is just kinda boring. It doesn't perform good, nor does it feel or look good, being the gun covering half of the screen. It's a 3 out of 10 as well. A good change of pace comes with Fighting Lion. I absolutely adore this weapon. If someone held a gun to my head and asked me what Fighting Lion does, I would not be able to tell you. At this point, it had gone through so many changes that I solely use it for the fact that it's Fighting Lion. It looks gorgeous. It feels amazing. It synergizes well with Void 3.0. It's the only exotic weapon to have its own subreddit. It's Fighting Lion. And it's a 7 out of 10. On the topic of weapons synergizing with Void 3.0, Graviton Lance is an exotic that shoots literal black holes, just really small ones. It does everything an exotic weapon should do: stunning looks, build crafting potential, strong viability, and simply just the cosmic vibe. This gun has everything, and with the new changes to its catalyst, it now has Warpole? Destiny the Meme is having an absolute field day. An easy 8 out of 10. Incoming hot take: Prospector is one of the best looking weapons in the game, hands down. However, that visual look is being offset by its utter uselessness. This weapon's exotic perk is that it has full auto, I guess? A 2 out of 10. Merciless felt like a double-edged sword. It does stick well with the year 1 visual aesthetic of a Destiny exotic. I can't say it looks bad. However, this gun's biggest problem is the ever-shifting change of pace. At one point of time you age 15 years while charging up a shot, the other you're barely holding your mouse down on the mousepad. A 3 out of 10. After trying it, I can say 2 things about this exotic. If I were at a party and someone asked me, "So I've heard of this game, Destiny 2 has those exotic things, what are they?" I would show them sweet business. The second thing about it, it is the crack cocaine of Destiny 2, specifically through this. Oh shit, I'm gonna reload. Ah, damn it, gotta reload again. A 7 out of 10. Ah, Rat King. Guys, wouldn't it be funny or the what if of Destiny 2. I love this gun, I adore it. There's not a lot of ways to have a hehe I'm so smart and nimble and I'm simply a rat feeling in this game, but this gun certainly provides it. A 5 out of 10. Sadly, Darcy shares the "man, this gun looks so good, I wish it would do anything" kind of year 1 curse. It's mostly known for being used as a ruler for PvP YouTubers, and unless they change it into a special weapon, I don't see it being anything else anytime soon. A 2 out of 10. Now don't get me wrong, this gun is a beast in high level PvE and PvP activities, absolutely. But on the scale of an average casual player, Vigilant Swing is simply a 5-round burst pulse rifle, and for me it did feel quite clunky and unresponsive. I have to give it only a 3 out of 10. The absolute power of this solid piece of weapon is shocking.
Oh brother, this guy stinks!
No, but for real, this is usually the first exotic new lights get, and it's such a good choice for a first exotic. It does an amazing job of fulfilling its own specific power fantasy. Which one, you ask? Well, a 9 out of 10. Similarly, Skyburner's Oath is also really good at fulfilling a certain power fantasy, being an absolute menace to those walking below you. Sadly, the power fantasy that this one accomplishes just isn't really powerful. It's a 4 out of 10. Drang is an exotic energy sidearm that... the good old reliable Sturm and Drang. After trying it, I found it surprisingly fun. Some might call the Drang requirement a limitation, but I don't see an issue with that. I could definitely feel the year 1 double primary vibe from this, but nonetheless the effectiveness and the general vibe of the two weapons optimistically surprised me. It's a 5 out of 10. There couldn't be a better name for this gun other than Sunshot. It's slick, it's hot, it's the bomb. If only it didn't take 15,000 years to complete the catalyst. An 8 out of 10. I don't even know where to start here. Tractor Cannon holds a special place in my heart. It's my pride, love and joy. I'm extremely biased here, but what this weapon has proved over the years in different metas is that Tractor Cannon stays meta. An easy 9 out of 10. There is no other weapon in the game which is solely responsible for accidental
Guardian down.
It's an absolute behemoth, both visually and mechanically, and I kinda dig it. Not too much to give it anything more than a 6 out of 10 though. I feel like Might is a good representation of how Destiny 2 Year 1 truly felt. It's consistent, not too flashy, has a unique combination. It's one of those weapons that I can't be mad at if I die to it in the Crucible. In PvE though, a 4 out of 10. For Red War, the last, and certainly the least, is Legend of Acrius. This was a raid exotic. A raid exotic. There's no other gun that infuriates me more. Eyes of Tomorrow, 1000 Voices, Divinity, absolute titans of raid exotics, and then this. What is this? A Cabal shotgun? Why does it do less damage than actual shotguns that Cabal are using? This is no Legend of Acrius. This is merely a drunken anecdote without a punchline of Acrius. At 2 out of 10. Moving over to Curse of Osiris. Upon trying it out, Crimson does feel a bit clunky and tends to reflect the design and error of Curse of Osiris, which is the worst insult you can come up with, so I'll assume it would be at best a...
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Wait, did you hear that? Weird. In reality, it's really hard to let go of Crimson's native addictiveness. It has everything it would ever need. Heals, auto reload on crits, and it's just a good looking weapon. Crimson is the first exotic I ever completed a catalyst for, and it's one of those weapons where it's never wrong to use it anywhere really. It's an 8 out of 10. Jade Rabbit is good at exactly two things in the game. First is being a good joke to laugh with your friends at. Second is momentum control. That's it really. It's a 2 out of 10. Prometheus Lance is one of those weapons that are genuinely just fun, in a genius but simple kind of way. Just mowing through enemies brings a smile on my face. It also bears the unique quality of having the best and the worst looking ornament in the game at the same time. It's a 7 out of 10. Not gonna lie, when I tried out Colony for this video, I had no idea what to expect, but it was actually a lot of fun. Just looking at the little bugs as they go and explode warms my heart. That's a 7 out of 10. And that's it for Curse of Osiris. I think that's it, right? Yeah. Starting off strong was Huckleberry. This beauty is a beast. Generally, if you're a casual PvE or even PvP player, you might not need anything else other than Huckleberry. As it says, there's nothing in the world 30 rounds can't solve. It's an easy 8 out of 10. To me, Suros is a definition of a B tier exotic. Does it excel in anything? Not really. Are there better alternatives? For sure. Kinda sad that there isn't much to talk about it. What Suros did right is the alternative modes. I wish more exotics had that. It's a 5 out of 10. I wish I could say anything remotely positive about this weapon. To me it feels slow, clunky and unnecessarily complicated, but also painfully simple at the same time. Maybe I'm just not a scout rifle enjoyer. Sorry Polaris, it's a 3 out of 10. Wordline 0. Probably the saddest exotic in the entire game. This is the only exotic I know that is being completely outdone and in shadow of a legendary weapon. Eager Edge is an infinitely better perk and it makes me sad. 2 out of 10. I may not be the biggest fan of Sleeper, but I know people who are. And they are fans of it for a damn good reason. If there is a gun in this game that makes you feel powerful, it's this one. I just wish I didn't have to go through 5 stages of grief while it was charging up. It's an 8 out of 10. Whisper of the Worm is an absolutely legendary weapon, being famous in both parts of the franchise. Black Hammer, Black Spindle, Whisper of the Worm sit in one corner with infinite heavy ammo gun, one of the best looking weapons in the game. However, it suffered many nerfs, that's why only an 8 out of 10. Cerberus feels very contradictory, because in theory it's supposed to be this and that, bunch of barrels, duct tape, extremely unique in its own design and structure. In reality and technicality, it's just an auto rifle. The reverse damage distance fall off is interesting though. It's a 4 out of 10. Wish Ender certainly ended most of my wishes and dreams. It might look cool, but that's it. It's a 2 out of 10. For me, Malfeasance falls into the category where I feel like it's never really wrong to use it. It looks stunning, it feels great, it does a great job at what it's supposed to do, and it gets stronger the more people use it together. It's consistent, and also I do have a Gambit related ornament which does not influence my decision at all. A 7 out of 10. I felt like I'm not exactly qualified to discuss Ace of Spades, so I asked a fellow connoisseur that I know. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
So, Ryan, could you please tell me what exact motivation and reasoning was behind your well-established statistics for this particular weapon?
Horny?
Thank you for your input. What is there to say about Ace of Spades that wasn't said before? It's an absolute legacy. It's a 9 out of 10. Chaperone is an exotic sniper rifle that felt surprisingly whippy, dealing enormous amounts of damage to the head. Also, it's one of those rare weapons where I consider the ornament to look leagues better than the original gun. It's definitely an odd choice for PvE, but I wouldn't judge a person using it, but it's still a 3 out of 10.
Hey, Warlock! You! Come back here, I've got a deal for you.
Huh?
Welcome to my office. Don't knock anything over. I paid for all of it. I have a special deal for you. You see how everyone's been using this solar everything nowadays? Everyone's burning things. It's boring. It's boring. Do you want things to go frying? To zap?
I don't know, man. Solar has been kind of powerful. I might just wait for Arc 3.0.
This thing is Arc 3.0. Let me tell you, you're going to be feeling this through every inch of your veins. It's so good. This is the Trinity Ghoul. I get the feeling that you're going to get very used to this thing very shortly.
After the last visit to the kiosk, the exotic kiosk, I'm kind of short on money, man. I don't know if I can afford it. And this is kind of sketchy.
Okay, tell you what. I will let you try mine. I'll cut you a deal. This baby, this bad boy, has an ornament and a catalyst. What do you say?
A catalyst, you say?
A catalyst. Do you know what the Trinity Ghoul catalyst does?
No. Show me. God damn! Alright. You sold me. I'll give you 48 glimmer.
Excellent.
There are two things to say about Wave Splitter. This weapon is in dire need of any support, be it catalyst or ornament or even a rework. And second is, this gun feels like a Magic the Gathering card, having too much text and just becoming overwhelming in information. I still have no idea what exactly this weapon does. It's a 4 out of 10. Lord of Wolves is an exotic fusion rifle that feels like it tried to be a combination of two things, but it turned out to bring the worst of the two. If this was a Horseman of the Apocalypse, it would absolutely be Famine in this special ammo economy. It did feel good just disintegrating the bosses though. It's an 4 out of 10. 1000 Voices is known to have the most fitting perk description in the game. Unleashes a giant continuous beam of death. It is destruction incarnate, destroying not only your foes, but your eardrums as well. It's an 8 out of 10. Two-Tailed Fox certainly nailed its idea and fulfills it well, regarding both technical and visual design of the weapon. It definitely has some build crafting potential, but I feel like it's just being outshined by a bunch of alternatives in the current state of the game. It's a 6 out of 10. Even while having 2 ornament slots, Black Talon still feels a bit basic and unintuitive. It's a 4 out of 10. This weapon infuriates me. First of all, I still remember this gun being a Gambit menace 4 years ago, and that's the last time it was used. It has selectable perks? What? Why? You might think, oh, this is a heavy linear fusion exotic rifle like Sleeper, then it should do a similar damage to Sleeper, right? Right? No, it does no damage. And to pour salt on the wound, you might think it has a blinding effect. That should be useful somewhere, right? No! A blinding effect can be found on a legendary grenade launcher, and it's special, and AoE. This gun is useless on all sides, terms, scenarios, and outcomes. A 2 out of 10. My favorite part about Thunderlord is back when it was released during Festival of the Lost, the gun was so loud and thunderous that 6 people using it against a raid boss would directly break the game's sound.
Dude, I got teleported back.
Scout, bucket team.
Oh wow. My sound is glitching out really hard.
Yeah, what is my sound?
Where's my sound?
I have no sound.
What is going on?
This is
Troll!
yeah, three plate, by the way.
Shut up.
Oh, sounds back. Nice to see you.
Huh, that's the second one. Now that's what I call the Lord of Thunder. I really wish sometimes that it would be meta or something like that, because in terms of fulfilling a Thor-like fantasy, this gun is just Risk Run on steroids. A 6 out of 10. Moving over to the Forsaken Season passes, I am entitled to say that there's no other gun in the game like Izanagi's Burden. It's one of the few weapons that was released back in Season 5, but still holds on to this day as a solid weapon of choice in Season 17. It's an 8 out of 10. Is Last Word a great sounding and a great looking gun with a balanced and fun mechanic in mind? Yes. Would I ever use it in PvE? No. The only question left to answer, are you a default purist or an ornament enjoyer? A 4 out of 10. Jotun is an exotic toaster rifle that's been made even better this season with a catalyst. Upon trying it again since forever, I found myself enjoying the weapon way more than I expected. It's a solid 7 out of 10. There are a lot of things to enjoy for, but I personally enjoyed for its versatility and consistency. Whether it's patrol, grandmaster or PvP, Lemon is always good, anywhere and at any time. Also, I've always been a fan of damage over time mechanics. It's an 8 out of 10. On the topic of versatility and damage over time, introducing Anarchy. Do you want area or ground control? Do you want AoE? Do you want good DPS for a boss? Do you want a solid damage over time? All of these questions, Anarchy answers with ease. Another 8 out of 10. As you could have guessed from my Grandmaster video, I love Arbalest and I hold it close to my heart. This weapon practically shoots through any shield in the game and makes my least favorite mod, Match Game, completely useless. Thank you, Arbalest. A 7 out of 10. Hey guys, have I talked about damage over time yet? Thorn is a genuinely awesome exotic, especially paired with necrotic grips. Spreading poison through waves of enemies is nothing but a boost of serotonin. The only thing missing is a nicely fitting catalyst. It's a 9 out of 10. Outbreak Perfected screams stability. It has practically zero recoil and it's very consistent across the board, once again proving itself to be a viable choice across all content and difficulties. It's a solid 6 out of 10. Bad Juju is an exotic pulse rifle that is known to have 3 perks total: Full Auto, Rampage and Thresh. That's it really. I really wish this gun was more viable than it currently is, and I do feel like this gun gets often overlooked. But I do dig the vibe and the design of it. It's a 5 out of 10. Lumina is a weapon unique in its own way of enabling a completely new playstyle. Sure, you can slap a Wall of Radiance and be done with it, but with the release of Lumina and Boots of the Assembler, Heal Lock is an actually viable choice in group activities. It's a 6 out of 10. Taraba has been through quite a journey, from being known as Terrible back upon its release to now being one of the most potentially strongest guns in the game. Would I consider this a good, viable, fun exotic? Absolutely. Is it worth being a raid exotic? I doubt. It's a 6 out of 10. Truth
is a funny thing.
Right now I can't find a single reason to use truth anywhere. I look into tomorrow with my eyes full of sorrow in understanding that this gun instead is just a lie. Lie that it's good anywhere in the game. It's a 2 out of 10. Moving over to Shadowkeep and the following seasons, starting with Monte Carlo, I firmly believe that in terms of mechanics, perks and technical design, Monte Carlo is the best exotic they have ever created. It's perfect in every way regarding how it works. There's just one thing: Bungie, please add a catalyst to it. A 9 out of 10. Divinity managed to fulfill an MMORPG direction that Shadowkeep executives were trying to achieve, and it worked. It's been a staple raid exotic ever since. Beautiful exotic, beautiful raid, beautiful quest. Amazing. 9 out of 10.
Here's a hand cannon that Victor's working on. It fires special ammo.
Right now, it kind of lights you on fire if you keep firing it too much. We'll see. Some people like it, some people are kind of but we'll hammer it all out.
Ariana's Vow is a strange one to me. As much as I want to love it, it just feels off, and I can't put my finger on it. Maybe what I should put my finger on is the trigger of this weapon, because I can't aim with it at all. It's a 5 out of 10. Xenophage is an exotic bug rifle that shoots big bullet. I know that a lot of people love this gun, but I personally could never get the hang of it. Being spoiled after 21% delirium, I just can't take low fire rate machine guns seriously anymore. It's a 3 out of 10. Deathbringer, being the literal definition of death put into a gun, is an absolute banger. Raining a cascade of void projectiles, this gun is Nova Bomb in a can. I simply can't not love it. It's a 9 out of 10.
What do people want? What have they been asking for? Trying new ideas.
So I want to try. I had a radar hiding.
Let me know how it feels to get shot by the heavy bow. I am working on an exotic heavy bow. And I'm just working on figuring out some knockback, trying to see how big this. Okay, that's probably too much, but you get the idea.
Leviathan's Breath. Does bow with a bike chain as a string sound cool? Yes, absolutely. Is it viable or good in any way? Absolutely not. In fact, it's secretly so bad that it might be good. With the catalyst and an ornament in my pocket, I can safely say that this is one of the worst guns in the game, and I love it so much exactly for that reason. 1500 kills for the catalyst. No. 2 out of 10. Love it. Bastion feels like a straight up punch, embraced in the form of a gun, and intrinsic anti-unstoppable is always nice to have. This is Lord of Wolves kind of fusion, but done right. A 5 out of 10. Symmetry feels weird. I don't remember the last time I've seen anyone use it. It feels like the entire community collectively decided to forget about this gun. And for a good reason. This is one of those rare cases where I'll step out and say that this gun lacks the ability to do damage. Simply. A 3 out of 10. Trying out Devil's Rune for the first time, I had low hopes and expectations. Why would I ever use it if I have 1000 voices? And then I tried it. And then I realized it. With infinite primary ammo, this gun changes to roughly 100 voices instead, but with an infinite mag, it is unexpectedly fun. It's a 6 out of 10. I feel like Tommy's Matchbook has been completely underlooked this season. With Solar 3.0 and Class Restoration, all you need to do is pop the Restoration perk, rev up, and shoot Tommy, and its downside is completely irrelevant. Also, it's a Tommy gun. Of course it's good and fun. It's a 7 out of 10. Some exotics are known for their versatility, overall usefulness, and ability to shine in various scenarios. Not Fourth Horseman though. Fourth Horseman is good at exactly one job. One job. And it excels at it. It perfected it. The job, you say? The job is to delete a single enemy from existence. A 6 out of 10. Remember how I talked about the constant tank health regeneration fantasy of Tommy's Matchbook? Remember how I talked about the constant barrage of bullets fantasy of Sweet Business? Well, let me introduce you to Heir Apparent, the I don't feel like taking any damage in the foreseeable future gun. An 8 out of 10. Destiny 2 is a great video game, but do you ever wish that you could just not play it? Now, just for $9.99 Glimmer in the exotic kiosk, you can get Witherhoard, a gun that will simply not allow your enemies to spawn. Tax rates apply. Bungie, in order to create this video, don't take responsibility for the hate messages received when using this weapon in control. A 9 out of 10. I feel like Traveler's Chosen tends to get overlooked a lot of times. If I had to put it into 2 words, this gun would be Build Crafter's Dream. Full auto, osmosis, returning ability energy fully after 10 kills. This gun is perfect if you have an ability spamming build and don't really have an exotic to match. A 5 out of 10. I absolutely love Ruinous Effigy and I adore this weapon to no end. It offers such a unique and fun playstyle that no other gun offers. It's one of the rare opportunities where an exotic weapon lets you build craft into it and everything just synergizes well together. It's an 8 out of 10. Moving over to Beyond Light, starting with No Time to Explain. Whenever I want to play tower defense in Destiny 2, I use No Time to Explain and Getaway Artist, and I just let the game shoot for me. A 6 out of 10. Hawkmoon turned out to be genuinely fun. I can definitely see snapping hordes of PvE enemies with this, and the sound design is simply immaculate. 7 out of 10. To be fair, Cloudstrike left me a bit unimpressed. It would greatly benefit from no distractions or something similar. I can give it only a 5 out of 10 at best. I thought duality would be viable only in PvP, but it turned out to be surprisingly fun and exciting in PvE as well. It might not be the best DPS option, but each shot is a separate serotonin boost. A 5 out of 10. Similar to Traveler's Chosen, Salvation's grip doesn't really shine in its DPS or ultimate effectiveness. Instead, it screams build crafting and utility, and I appreciate that. I'll give it a 4 out of 10. On paper, Lament sounds fucking cool, but the more I use it, the more uncomfortable I feel. And the blocking into attacking, to me, just feels really clunky and unresponsive. I'm sorry, but to me it's only a 3 out of 10. Man, I just wish I could love this gun. Alright, I guess I'm off to record the Dice of Tomorrow fragment. Just gotta reset this lost sector real quick. Wait a minute. Huh? What was that? What the fuck? What? No.
¿Quieres luchar conmigo?
No. Regarding Ice of Tomorrow, I don't have it. Whoops. I suggest you watch the following clip in its entirety to understand my relation with Dead Man's Tale. This weapon makes me feel like a video game journalist. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to pass on this. A 3 out of 10. TQ's Divination is an excellent exotic, and Solar 3.0 did give it a good boost in the right, explosive direction. If I want to hold the power of the sun in my hand, but not particularly feeling in the sunshot mood, I'm gonna be using TQ's. It's a 6 out of 10. Cryosthesia is a fun, casual weapon to use, turning everything into stasis crystals, but at the end of the day it's still just a sidearm. It's a 4 out of 10. Vex Mythoclast is an awesome exotic. It feels great, the catalyst is amazing, and it's so good with Reyna. Just kidding, I don't have it. I appreciate Aegir Scepter for enabling a lot of build crafting possibilities, but also being that I should turn my DPI to 16,000 kind of gun, it lands in a 7 out of 10. With a Lawrence driver, while the exotic itself is fun and all, and I love void shenanigans, I gotta say, this design just doesn't click for me. It's a 5 out of 10. Forerunner is an exotic hand cannon, intrinsic perk of which states that this has a sidearm. This gun does nothing. I would actually just rather use a legendary kinetic sidearm instead. Not for me. 2 out of 10. Oh, you know who this is. Did you ever have a friend that would constantly barrage you with this one specific show, endlessly begging you to watch it, claiming that it's good? Yeah, you completely understand that the show is good, very good even, but because it has been praised and recommended so much that you just kind of grow a natural, weird, rebellious incentive against it? Yeah, that's Galahorn. However, it's also the Galahorn. This gun has its own separate dedicated day of the year, for God's sakes. So, an 8 out of 10. Moving over to Witch Queen and Season of the Risen, guys, have I talked about damage over time yet? Yeah, you know I like it. And Osteostriga is a straight up hive crack. These people really just combined Risk Runner and Thorn, slapped them together with duct tape and called it a day. Magnificent. And yes, it works with necrotic grips. Easiest 9 out of 10. Grand Overture feels so weak that it's bizarre how it got in the game like that. So you're supposed to get 20 kills, gather the buff, wait it out, find the perfect moment, and it does nothing. Disappointment. A 2 out of 10. Now, if only there was a better gun with that mechanic. Parasite is a beautifully disgusting tango of a worm and a nuke, and this time it actually does something on getting 20 kills. Alright, set up the damage buffs, get 20 kills, wait it out, find the perfect moment, and oh shit, I missed my worm. Never mind, give me a second. Okay, there we go. Deleted. This is one of the best weapons they have added in a long time. 9 out of 10. Unfortunately, I can speak only for the Warlock exotic glaive at the moment. After trying it out, it felt kind of boring. With all of the restoration and the healing turret and the healing rift and the changes to resilience, I genuinely was falling asleep. I felt like I was in actual god mode, at least for a normal lost sector. It's a 3 out of 10. Even though Dead Messenger definitely outshines Borealis, I still consider it to be slightly underwhelming. It's certainly a good gun in the right hands, but those hands are not mine. A 5 out of 10. No, I don't have the Vow Raid Pulse. Moving over to the current season, Trespasser is a returning D1 exotic, and it has a certain vibe around it. It does have its ups and downs and goes perfectly into the average of 6 out of 10. Hard Shadow, at least for me, nailed every single feature that an exotic should have. I got it. I got it first try in the new dungeon, immediately upgraded the catalyst and bought the ornament. This piece of art has everything I would ever need. And 9 out of 10. Alright. Phew. That should be it. Every single exotic ranked. Now the only things that are left to do is to rank one exotic as a 1 and one exotic as a 10 out of the ones that we have. So one of the exotics that are in the tier of 2 are gonna move down one row, and one of the exotics in the 9 will get a promotion. Starting with tier 1, I honestly think that this isn't actually a big of a thinker. Looking at all of those exotics, I have to say, unfortunately, but Worldline 0 has to go and claim its spot in tier 1, honestly. Now, tier 10 is a little bit more tricky, because all of these exotics are so good, but I think we all know what it is, right? Yeah, it's obviously... Wait a minute. No.